that do I use CDT or should it be extempore? Then she said that, sir, we don't have CDT. What is that? I said CDT is crowd deceiving technique. Crowd deceiving technique is PPT, PowerPoint presentation. So you start reading School of Humanities and Department of Economics. When Department of Economics you turn, I don't use that unless I really need it, because if the crowd is not at rest, the crowd is not concentrating on me, then I use CDT. So I was prepared. I did not know how many people will be here. I told her that when I come here, I'll have a quick look at the children and make my judgment. Friends, you know, ours is the only profession with two hands. You know why? An economist always say, on one hand inflation is increasing, whereas on the other hand growth is depressing. On this hand the deficit is increasing, whereas on this hand the development expenditure is not increasing. So we are the fortunate people to have two hands, but then with these two hands we are more handicapped than anybody else, because our science, if at all we call it as a science, is indecisive. Is indecisive because we are dealing with something which is beyond science. I call it as science, the basic tenet. And I'm sorry, you did not introduce me properly. You did not tell. It is there in my CV that this person is extremely indisciplined person. Is that? It has to be read between the lines. Because I started my graduation with physics honors, got into econometrics, taught econometrics for quite some time, almost the entire period. It will resound. My voice will be troublesome for them. I'll have to speak very slowly then. And I won't get that grit to speak if I have to speak in this tone. Don't you think so? I'll stand at a distance in this. Okay. After my graduation, I went to army, came back, joined for econometrics, taught computer programming, got into development economics, and then what all you said about agriculture economics, I am not even qualified to be that, because I have never passed any examination throughout my life in agriculture economics as a paper. So if I apply for a lecturer's post in agriculture economics, the application will be thrown out like a cockroach. They'll say, no, he doesn't have anything in agriculture economics. What is it? He doesn't have a degree, doesn't have a paper. So I have not learned it. And that is the first lesson I need to teach. That's the first lesson I need to teach, that if you have to be a good economist, you need to be a better thinker, a better observer, a better interpreter, a better questioner than become just a dumb listener and reproducer. What is called plagiarism. While coming back and coming to the college, I gave a small hints about plagiarism. It is necessary from the childhood we are taught to be the best plagiarist. Have you ever written 1 to 10 in a haphazard manner? No, 1 to 10. Have you written ABCD in a haphazard manner? No, A, B, C, D, only in that fashion. Because you are told not to apply your brains. But then what I tell, you reproduce. And the better you reproduce, the better marks you get. What is that? It's photocopying machine. The better you reproduce, you are called Xerox machine. Because Xerox is a company which was first to produce photocopying. So, the better you reproduce, the better is the gradation. And the higher the gradation, better is the plagiarist. Don't do that. Start using the top of your shoulder. And that requires you to be a better economist. What is in economics? I tell you, because I had planned the lecture in a different manner. Economics one thing we start with assumptions. We start with assumptions because we are beyond science. Science doesn't start with assumptions because science has to have strong facts in front of them. Science has a laboratory where there is a door to enter in, there are windows, there is a floor, there is a roof. You have to do the experiment within that. All the apparatus are kept in place. They have to be used in a particular fashion only. A periscope has to be used in a particular way. A microscope has to be used in a particular manner. A spectrometer has to be used in a particular manner. Economics, or for that matter social sciences. And I don't treat economics as a separate thing from social sciences because my students, I was telling, my students go to sociology, political science, environmental science, environmental economics, physics. My students are everywhere. Your college has a student of mine who is teaching political science. She is my student in political science, work on efficiency of bureaucracy using psychiatric methods, psychological methods. I am not a psychologist, but then I mastered the methods in order to learn with her and use the methods in order to decide what is efficiency and how does the efficiency come in. Because IAS is called an efficient person. Why? Because you are given about 100 questions and you need to solve them within that 1 hour. Correct answer within the given time is correct decision making power. If you have better decision making power, you can get 90 out of 100. If you are confused, this or this or this or this, you get 40 out of it and you don't pass. Does that mean that you are not a good administrator? You can be. But then our methodology of selection is that. And that is where we entered into. We computed their efficiency based on their LLQs, what comes out of MBTI. That is a psychological test. That whether you have a leader-like quality or not. And if you have a leader-like quality, you can emerge. Leaders are not made, they are born. And these born leaders have to pick it up by their qualities. I worked on sociology. When my first student wanted to work on the effectiveness of the developmental programs for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, I asked him, why should you choose scheduled caste and scheduled tribes? What is the specialty? He said, no sir, they are downtrodden. But why? Do you know what is caste? He belonged to the scheduled caste. Do you know what is caste? I don't read it. Before you spill it, I will spill it. I should have that authority to spill it. She says, okay, go ahead. I asked him to read it on caste. What is caste? How does it come around? What is the base of it? And while discussing with him, exactly that year, that is 88-89, had come Ambedkar's volumes, collected work of Dr. Ambedkar. It was published by Government of Maharashtra and I read volume 2, which deals with economics. I found that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar had written at the age 25 about economics of caste. He did not title it as economics of caste, but then the content was that caste originates out of the control of resources, like this glass of water, these 4 glasses of water. There is a rule made by man that only bearded people can take the glass. It's an irrational rule. All girls will say, nonsense, this cannot be, this should not be allowed. All girls will say. But then she has made the rule. This is called irrational institutionalization. And Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar said irrational institutionalization for the control of resources is the origin of caste. And we worked on that. I sent a student to learn about the caste and books on the caste. There was a very famous professor of sociology. He was Sri Lankan, Bupagamage. Bupagamage said that you are economics person. You do tables, shares, regression, correlation, you do surveys, and in survey report, that is economics. He came back, crestfallen, sir, Bupagamage sir says that you can't read in caste. You should not. That is sociology subject. I was talking to my friend. I said, what am I famous for in ISEC? I am very strict, though I don't seem to be. Because influence of my wife has made me tone down. And after retirement, I am totally under her control. Now, I told him, nothing doing, you get lost. Don't show me your face unless you read it and come back. 2-3 times he went to Pune University and came back, and finally he brought some books and I read along with him. It is exactly, untouchability is an irrational institutionalization for controlling the resources. Certain class wants to control the resources, and in order to control those resources, they have made birth as an irrational institutionalization. None of us are born by certificate. We are not told before birth, we are not asked, where do you want to take birth? No. It automatically happened. And then some 4 or 5 gentlemen, ladies got together and stamped the caste, the creed, and then the rules of the gender. Oh, girls should not sit like that. Why? Why not? I put my leg up. Why should not? Now, this is called irrational institutionalization, which is not in economics, but it is economics in new institutional economics. This is irrational institutionalization gets it. So we wrote a paper along with Professor Thorat, because Thorat was my classmate, and we used to sit on the bench always discussing all these questionable things. The first question I asked in the economics class, I came back from army, the admissions were closed, nobody will admit me in physics because already it was September end, already practicals are over, nobody would admit me in mathematics because a lot of classes are done, but still I got admission in mathematics, statistics and economics. I entered the class of economics and I found graph, interpretation of, oh, this is very easy, clear, what is there? And I stayed. I stayed on. After all differentiation, after all integration, differentiation, what is it? It's nothing. I entered economics. But then, when my teacher started teaching me microeconomics, that time it was called theory of value. Microeconomics, 2 books were recommended. You know, now those books may be there or may not be there. Now you may be following Jingam, Sharma, Venkatramana or somebody. You may not be following John Hicks or Ferguson. You may not be. What is the macroeconomics book? Micro. Very new books. And it is called microeconomics. Hicks' book was titled as Theory of Value. Theory of Value. And Milton Friedman, Ferguson as well as Milton Friedman, they dealt with theory of price. 2 things are different. Theory of price and theory of value. But then syllabus says the books are same. And that is what we have. I asked, is value and price same, sir? My teacher, who is still there in Nagarbavi only, he said yes. And I said, this pen, if it is gifted by you to me, that time then you should 2 rupees. This is costly. This pen, if it is gifted by you to me, is it worth only 2 rupees? It's not. Its value is far higher than its price. Then why there is a difference between the 2? He said, right now don't ask about it. Don't ask about it right now. And that is where the discussions began on everything, each and everything. Like you have law of demand. There is nothing law in it, but still it's called law of demand because there are more aberrations to law of demand than the law itself. We need to question, and that is the first thing an economist must do. I was telling about laboratory of science is closed. There are windows, there is a door, there is a floor, there is a roof. But laboratory of economics or laboratory of social science is open. There is no door to enter. We are all in social sciences right now. Whether you are learning physics, chemistry, mathematics, botany, zoology, biochemistry, anything you are learning, but you are a social science person. You are a participant in the society. You are one member of the society by the virtue that you are born in the society. And therefore, anything that happens in the society equally applies to each one of you almost in the same manner. And thinking that the law of demand will be the same for you, which you are looking this side, is same for you or same for her is not correct. It will be different for you, different for her. If you are buying a mobile, you will buy it differently, she will buy it differently. He will buy it differently, he will buy it differently. And therefore, this laboratory has no windows, no doors, no roof, no floor. This laboratory is absolutely an open lab in which anybody can behave in any way. Whereas in science laboratory, if it is copper plus H2SO4, it is CuSO4, whether it is in Madras, Bangalore, Trivandrum, Mumbai, Dehradun, anywhere it will be same. But if you ask elasticity of demand with respect to Mitra, I hope you all know. I know it because of my daughter. It's some portal on which you get clothes. Elasticity of demand with respect to Mitra. The kind of results that you get from Delhi, from Jagdalpur, from Dharwad, from Bidar are different. The behavior of the consumers will be different. And therefore, this is more challenging than science. Science goes with 7 tenets. What I call as group 1. Group 1 is G is generalization. There is a generalization possible in science and it is necessary. In social sciences, generalization is not at all possible. It's a challenge to generalize anything called law or robustness of the result. In social sciences, in economics, results change every day. Objectivity O. Objectivity is something in mathematics we learn the theorem of limit. Limit x tends to n as x tends to n as I tends to m. Very difficult. But don't worry. Don't worry. It's something like this. A particular thing starts moving from here. It wants to reach here, but it never reaches. It reaches very close to it. Something like I can tell you. Anybody in this classroom, can you tell me your exact age? No. I give you the answer, no. Because if you say years, I ask months. If you say months, I ask days. If you say days, I ask hours. If you say hours, I ask minutes. If you say minutes, I ask seconds. And none of us are that precise. You understand limit now? It's exactly reaching there, but can never reach there. That's the theorem of limit. And objectivity is like that. We can never be objective because we are the component of the entire experiment. Then, OU. U is universality. It should be universally applicable. OUP. P is reproducible. Reproducible. That results can be repeated. Results can be repeated. O1. Group O1. O is open access. N is ethically neutral. Ethically neutral. That your result should be ethically neutral. Tell me, how many girls will take stand in gender studies against women? Most of the girls will not. And therefore, we are not neutral. We are, because from childhood you have suffered. You have suffered one way or the other. You don't call it suffering, but then somewhere inside, deep inside, there is a hurt. There is a hurt. My student called me and said, "Sir, I am not well. I cannot reach Anita, the professor of political science." She said, "I cannot reach." Feeling sorry about it. The reason is the family is there. There should be some calling on the son or calling on the daughter has to be done, and that has to be done only by mother. It's not responsibility of father. Am I right, man? There is no responsibility of the father. If the son's homework has to be done, fathers don't get into it. It's mother only has to get into it. Whether educated or uneducated has to get into it. That is neutrality. And E. E is efficiency. Efficiency is per unit of time. Now, social sciences, at this moment, I am standing, I am talking to you, the influence is there. Next moment, it may not be there. And therefore, the tenets of science are the challenges to social sciences. And social sciences go beyond the tenets of science. Know what is economics? Similarly, all of you, this is a teaching method which all of us follow, and it's a very effective method. How many of you know Vibgyor? Vibgyor, just raise hand. The colors of rainbow. How many of you remember from childhood? Remember, no? Why? It was taught that way. Let me teach you economics. Economics is, first thing is efficiency. First thing is efficiency of resource use. How do we use given resources within that time? Within that, 4 glasses of water was kept, not 5th one. Because it was sufficient for the 4 persons who were supposed to occupy these chairs. So resources have to be spread onto the users or producers efficiently so that each component gives largest marginal productivity or optimal productivity, the best way. 4 of you have different kind of thing. She is very good writer, she is very good analyst, she is very good proof checking, grammar is excellent, and she is the one who looks into poetic content. I give the contents to all of you. She will not look into grammar but poetic content. Poems or poets do not follow very easy grammar. Their grammar is different. Yours is insistence on grammar. So each one has to contribute optimally to their productivity. That's the first lesson. Efficiency. Efficiency, that's what you learn in production function. That's what you learn in most of the production systems. That's what you learn in linear programming. That's what you learn in mathematical programming. The efficiency of production with the resources. The clarity. In economics, we need clarity. You see, EC. I'm defining economics like this. ECONOMIC. Clarity in the sense when you state, and that's what my question was, when you state law of demand, prices decide the demand of a particular product. How many of you agree with it? Cell phone. Prices decide the demand of cell phone. Do they? Do all people buy less price cell phone? Then what decides? It's not price.
Brand name.
It's the quality it gives. What is the content? No, it has so many pixels. This has that pixel, that has that pixel. This has this facility. This has music inbuilt in it. And this has 4 GB, 3 GB, 2 GB. How much GB we use, we do not know. But then, there are various factors that decide the demand. Clarity is an essential thing. Therefore, further going, the theory of demand expanded heavily. We got into linear expenditure system, we got into ideologue systems, we got into complete demand systems, we got into various things, and these were specifically because clarity was not there in simple terms. Then there is observation. Economists need observation. I was talking to ma'am while coming, and she's just like that the discussion went on. Some of the concepts in economics. One was the rational expectations hypothesis. Rational expectation hypothesis is very well taught, is strongly built in economics. But whose rationality is it? What is generalized rationality? Is there something called generalized rationality of a consumer or of a producer? When you ask such question, your observation and your questioning the major hypothesis is important. Then there are normative concepts, N, economics, N. In economics there are large number of normative concepts. There are norms which are decided. When you talk about poverty, we say 20 to 50 calories. Now why 20 to 50 calories? And suppose somebody eats 20 to 40 calories. For example, this girl, 20 to 40, maybe 20 to 20 or maybe 2000 only. Is she a poor? The reason is that these norms have to be used for certain purposes. There is a famous thing which is given in the budget, what is called fiscal deficit 3.5%, 3.2%. Nobody asks where did this 3.5%, 3.2% came in. Who decided it? FRBM Act. But then before FRBM Act, this norm should have come from somewhere. You read it and you will find that it was just like this decided it should be 3.5%. Then they say Hindu rate of growth. Many people do comment on Hindu rate of growth. How did this particular word came into existence? When Rajkrishna first time thought of Hindu rate of growth, he named it because of certain things. He was very critical of South Indians, especially 2 or 3 of his colleagues. And then he decided, let me call it as Hindu rate of growth, because 3 and 0.5. 3 and 0.5, he called it as 3.5 as Hindu rate of growth. Nobody knows this story. It was told by Rajkrishna himself that once I decided that I should call this way a Hindu rate of growth, and he was prophetic. He was prophetic because 3.5 is something. In the vicinity of 3.5 only we play this side, that side. All through last 70 years, the other day Rangarajan had talked about it. 3.5% is something which is our threshold. Touch it and come back, or touch it and go that side. Then that is normative. Again the normative, another example I give you, which is in the fallacy, that whenever the budget or anybody talks to you on budget, very firmly they say that fiscal deficit was 3.2% budgeted. We cross the borders and get into further. I come to the next M, methodical. Think methodically. It is the training in economics that makes you think methodically. What is the mother of economics? Logic is the mother of economics. If it is not logically to your end, then you don't understand it. And if it's logically explained by ma'am in the class, you feel happy from inside. Like in mathematics theorem, you get the solution. You say, no, in the young days, I got it. Like that, if man teaches it and logically it applies to you, it appeals to your brain, you say, I got it. And that's the mother of economics. It is intelligent connectivity. In social sciences, everything is connected. Me coming here is connected with Tulika, or is connected with her, is connected with another friend of mine, Keshav. It's connected with something. So everything is connected with something or the other. But then in economics there are first layer determinants, second layer determinants, third layer determinants, and that has to be deciphered very carefully. Everything is connected with everything, and thus intelligent connectivity, that is high economics. Last but one is creativity. You need a lot of creativity in doing economics. You need a lot of creativity, and creativity comes only out of question. So my mantra to you in learning economics is something which possibly your teachers may not relish. Question as much possible. Ma'am, why is this so? Why is that so? Hey, keep quiet. That's what our teachers did to us when we were young children. Your teachers may not do it. When I started Ambedkar School of Economics, I used to take 2 classes in the entire week. They were not classes. I enter when the class is going on. As a director, I was permitted to, and I used to tell the teacher that today I am going to enter into a class. I enter in the class, and the teacher will go and sit somewhere, and then start discussing common things. Economics is a social science. It's not esoteric. We brush our shoulders with science, but we are beyond science. We brush our shoulders with mathematics, but we are beyond mathematics. No regression, and unfortunately, many econometricians don't teach. The entire regression, the fallacy of it, lies in that last term. What is it called? Error. The more error you commit, the more ditch you are in. And the behavior of the error is something which is important. And then there is something called error correction model. Like what you do. Next time you correct the error. Deshpande sir very Yeah, why? This nice person is my friend. Ma'am, अर्धा घंटे सुट्टी ಹೊಡೆದ್ರಲ್ಲ. Error correction model. Next time, call a person who will speak quickly and go out. I inaugurate your session and get it. Then the last one is structural thinking. You have to have a very structured thinking. Economics, yes. A structured thinking is something which is always there with us. Only a person who is mad cannot think structurally. But don't call them mad. They are super intelligent. We cannot decipher their intelligence, and therefore we call them other. They are super intelligent. Their method of thinking is different. That's all. Their method of thinking is different. Nobody is superior or inferior. The method of thinking, the method of work, the way they are brought are different. But that should not be, that is irrational institutionalization. And therefore, structural thinking sequentially is important. What is that? E is efficiency, C is clarity, O is observation, N is normative, objectivity, methodical thinking, intelligent connectivity, creativity, and structural thinking. Now there are textbooks in economics. Textbooks teach you concepts, diagrams, formulae, theories, abroad theories which are in Indian, and largely Indian theories are not taught because we don't consider our Hittal Gida Maddu. The tree which grows in my backyard has nothing. But then there are Indian theories. For example, the graded inequality, the theory which Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar propounded when he was just 25 years old. Many of you will be reaching 25 sooner or later. The first paper he read in University of Columbia was the caste in India. Caste in India. 25 years he was. Exactly 1916 he read, 7th May 1916. He read that paper. What is the paper? It shows how the graded inequality perpetuates. How poverty perpetuates. Why? Poverty is not getting removed. why it is asymptotic. Why asymptote is something which goes down, 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 but never touches this axis. It goes down like this. Why is it asymptotic? And he found out how the graded inequality on two axes are increased. This is economics. He was 25 years old and he was a student of anthropology that time. He presented the paper in anthropology department, which was in economics field. So economics is not a bounded thing. I call it as one thing which bounds teachers as well as students is called carol or paddock. Paddock is an enclosure for the horses. Bamboos are tied all around and the horses are left inside. They are bamboos, just tied with small ropes. Horses are inside. Horses think that they are tied inside that. The horse strength is sufficient enough to throw the bamboo and go out. But it is not done because they think that they are tied. You know what is the paddock under which you all are tied along with the teachers is the syllabus and the boss. Boss is
Exams.
not the principal.
Exams.
Huh?
Examinations.
The board of studies. People sit in the board of studies. No, ma'am, that will be very difficult for our students. We should not include that textbook. We should do this textbook. No, we should not teach that, ma'am. It is not correct. This is better. Singham is better. This some other author is no good. No. Johnston's first edition is not correct. We should take only Gujarati, or we should take Oceanics only. The board of studies ties everything around. The teacher also feels, and during March you should talk to your teacher. I have complete syllabus. I could not. And so much is remaining. And student, ma'am, our syllabus is not over, ma'am. Sir, our syllabus is remaining, and this coral or paddock is tied around you. Not only restricting your studies, not only restricting anything, but also your thinking power. The moment your thinking power is restricted, you are nowhere but the machines which will reproduce what you can understand or what you can absorb. I would give the last message that please don't do that. Allow your thinking free. Give as much trouble to your peer as well as to your teachers, so that teachers also think out of box and you think out of box. With these words, I close today. I am very grateful to all of you, all children as well as teachers, for inviting me. There is one positive gain that I get. You have seen me while coming. You have seen me while sitting. You thought, not a very energetic. Maybe under 10 minutes you get exhausted. The energy comes. The moment you are on the podium, the energy comes from somewhere. You don't know. And that's what the teacher's energy is. I feel energetic in front of children, and I am thankful for that. Wishing you all the best, and your year ahead should go with maximum. I made my medical school student to write essays on very controversial topics, like can inflation be controlled with monetary policy? And even today that essay is wonderful. It is not published, but then it will be one of the very good reading. And today we are thinking about it. I made them to budget allocation, the irrationality in budget allocation. Made two groups. One is treasury group and there is opposition group. You talk about irrational allocation in the budget and they talk about the rational allocation in the budget. The irrationality came out, how the allocation is done. What are the elasticities? What are the expenditure elasticities? All that is something which can be done through your forum. With regards to all of you, with love to all of you, and let my energy continue to be like this. Thank you.
That was indeed an incredible lecture to look up to as economic enthusiasts, sir. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for such an energetic lecture. Let's receive a loud round of applause. The floor is now open for questions and answer session.
No question. Go ahead.
Sir, you spoke about irrational institutionalization, and you also spoke that you co-authored a paper with Professor Thorat. I read some of his papers. One of them was, how untouchability in India is still very prevalent. Even educated people do it, and so on. And in 12th, for my political science project, I looked into the economics aspect of caste system. How, the stratification, like the Shudras and Dalits, they have to hold on to land, and like many people are landless and so on. And it would be nice that if you could give a few pointers on how irrational institutionalization exists now in like 21st century India. Just a few examples for us economic students.
Thank you. See, irrational institutionalization is something which untouchability is one example. Irrational institutionalization is not allowing certain, say, females not allowed in a temple. Why? What is the reason? Or females should not do this, or certain caste should not do that. Fixity of occupation, both ways, from top to bottom or bottom to top. No movement. A Brahmin cannot become a cobbler cannot become a Brahmin. Why? No answer. So this is what, and what is institutionalization? Is fixing norm. Institution is either written or unwritten laws of behavior. For example, when I came in, you all stood. Show me in St. Joseph College anywhere a rule that the old man comes, you must stand. Show me a rule. Is there any rule? No. Okay. If anyone addresses me, they will say, sir, you tell me this. Why? Why not? Deshpande, please tell me this. There is an irrational institutionalization which is set in our brains that we should not address such an old man by his name. It's wrong. His name doesn't change. It doesn't insult him. By calling him sir, he does not get higher rank. This is irrational institutionalization. What happens is that in a production, are you faculty? No. So you may not understand production function. In any production, I'll explain, please listen. I am explaining production function in the simplest form. Simplest form. There are four persons making a particular project. There are three. Anyway, come, go and sit there. These are four. First person knows how to draw. Okay. The second person knows how to fill the color. Third person knows how to cut it. Fourth person knows how to paste it. Okay. Now, the drawing is the basic thing. It's important. The second one, cutting. Third one, but then I have given randomly. I have given them a task randomly. Slowly, after years, they have become proficient. Now I pay them. Since the fourth person has very little work, I pay less. The third person has a little bit more work, I pay more. I pay far more to the third person, and to the first person I pay the highest. Over years, what happens? The first person becomes the richest and will not share his or her knowledge to the third or fourth. Second becomes second richest, will not share the knowledge and skill with the other two. And the same thing. As a result, the fourth person remains at the bottom, the first person goes at the top. The institutionalization in this is that there are 4 production resources and I produce a particular thing. The returns out of it I have distributed them, but irrationally. That's exactly irrational institutionalization. And that's why there is a perpetuation of poverty in this class as against that. There is a richness in that class because this class was never allowed to go there. Yes.
Next question, please.
Anybody? Yes, go ahead, ma'am. I think your voice should be clear to me.
Sir, what is the solution to rational institutionalization? Do you think open dialogue and
Till the time,
critical thinking might solve the problem, or at least will be a step towards it?
You see, one thing is, over time, till the time markets function, it is very difficult because personal profits enters into the picture and she will not leave her job. The first person will not leave her job because she is getting maximum pay. Will not allow this person to go there. And that will create rift between the classes, between the social groups. And that rift is continued unless we strategically and effectively bridge this rift. It will not happen. Slowly it is coming down. But then it is necessary to flow back within the community. That the fourth person working, if acquires higher skills, must give it to their own peers. If that doesn't happen, the inequality continues. And that is why inequality has an asymptotic behavior. It doesn't get on.
Next question, please. So I have a general question, not in relation to the lecture, but NEP is implemented only in Karnataka as of now. So do you think it will impact Karnataka in an economic development manner, or will it not bring in any flow of economic development? It's the new.
Don Quixote? How many of you have read Don Quixote? The classic story of, it's called Quixotean. Quixote goes with all armory, sitting reverse on the horse to kill the enemies. In NEP is something of that sort. I would have spoken at length on NEP. Though I would invite Nath of Inauguration, even though I was the one who selected him as Vice Chancellor of Bengaluru University and then Vice Chancellor of Badar. But still, he is now under the influence of implementing it fully. Now, there are 3 components of NEP. First component is enhancing the skill. I want you to be sculptor. Can you become? No. Whatever training I give, you cannot. Can you become a poet with training? No. You cannot, because it has to come from within. So, imparting skills is impossible from outside. It should come from inside. Second thing is that when you change from one profession you have done become second year and you want to shift to economics, there is a lot of hurdles. In fact, a lot of lives will be spoiled if they are allowed to change the courses. The NEP was done in a hurry. It starts at the age of 3. It has internally a lot of contradictions. Unfortunately, Bengaluru was one I selected as Vice Chancellor. MK Sridhar was one whom I selected as Professor. So if you want to throw stones, you can throw it. Because MK Sridhar was the secretary and he is the one who is taking it around. Now tell me, Rangan, has he taught ever in the school, college, university, PhD, anywhere? If you are not taught, how can you learn teaching methodology? And what is teaching methodology? 42 times NEP repeats pedagogy, pedagogy. What is pedagogy? Go and see the Wikipedia or the meaning of pedagogy. Meaning of pedagogy is preparing leaders out of small children. It is teaching small children. It is teaching method of pedagogue is small children. It's a Greek word. Then what is the teaching method for you people? You are not small. All of them illiterate, all 11. Why? There is a higher level of teaching method called andragogy. Did I teach you economics today? I did not teach you economics. I told you how to read economics, how to be in economics. I did not teach you economics. The higher teaching method is yautagogy. Yautagogy is challenging the young brains to understand the subject. I tried to challenge the young brains to understand the subject. I did not teach. I threw challenges inside you. Beyond that is another teaching method. It's called yautagogy. All of them, all the entire NEP team is unaware, is illiterate about these teaching methods. Yautagogy is a teaching method if I am teaching to the teachers, their refresher courses, etc. I don't teach them. I give a lecture and I go on asking questions. They learn on themselves. Yautagogy is when a carpenter's son learns carpentry. Have you seen a carpenter with a blackboard and a chalk piece in his hand teaching his son? Have you seen a blacksmith teaching his children with a chalk piece in hand and doing pedagogy? Have you seen any skilled person, even a mechanic on the road, when your scooter gets off, you ask them, where did you learn this? Has he learned in their class? No, skills are not to be that. Skills have to learn with yautagogy. And yautagogy is higher level of teaching methodology. I said that I will use CDT. In the CDT it is there. In the EPT, this was there. Then I thought it may travel at that level. I can leave it. I did not want to get into it. After coming here, I decided no. But I will give you the printout of it. Now, if an adult has to be taught, my knees don't permit. Usually I don't work from it. I go around. You just imagine I come there and put hand on your shoulder. Shall I demonstrate it? You feel, you absorb what I say immediately. That absorption is high. It's not because of the distance, but it is because of the affinity. Affinity is not measured. It's non-measurable. If I stand by your side and say, oh, see, economics is this, you feel that affinity, which is not by the distance, but it's a non-measurable distance. The hertology is that, and which I use in Ambedkar School of Economics. Therefore, the school I left about 4 years back, even today, they call me from all over places. There is a student I used to call as teacher. There was one Orissa girl whom I used to call Chuti Chutki and Badi Chutki. Both of them, they call, sir, मैं चुटकी बोल रही हूँ. I'm doing it different. Why do they get closer? It's because of universe. It's not because of God. Got it? Nothing about anything. Karnataka is implementing it. Government of India has passed it without. But there are issues that should have been discussed in the state council, were not discussed in interstate council. There are many issues which possibly may not be interested, which may not interest everyone.
That was quite an insightful answer, sir. Thank you. Thank you to audience for the questions as well. According to Henry Ward Beecher, gratitude is the fairest blossom that springs from the soul. To formally express our gratitude to all of you, I now invite Reshma Karthikeyan, President of the Economics Forum, to deliver the word of thanks.
I feel happy to hand over this CDT, not for her to deceive you, but for the purpose that we can.
Good evening to all. I deem it an honor and a privilege to propose the word of thanks on this memorable occasion. First and foremost, I thank our chief guest, Dr R S Deshpande, who despite his busy schedule found time to grace this occasion. I can say on behalf of everyone here that this will be a lecture that we will never forget. We are grateful to our principal, Father Victor Lobo, for his continued support to the activities of the Department of Economics. I thank our Dean, Clement Sir, for his support, enthusiasm and encouragement for all of the efforts of the associations. My sincere gratitude to Head of the Department, Anita Ma'am, for the unstinted support and guidance that she continues to offer us. My heartfelt thanks to all the faculty members of the department for their valuable contribution and guidance in all our efforts. I am very thankful to all the former office bearers of both the associations, and if not for their efforts, the associations wouldn't have come this far. I extend my gratitude to Divya, who has done a wonderful job in conducting the event, and also to Alban for blessing the occasion. It would be unfair to not thank all the support staff who have played an almost invisible but very crucial role in ensuring the success of this event. And last but not the least, I thank each and every one of you who turned out here for your cooperation in making this event a resounding success. Once again, thank you.
Thank you, Reshma. Now, we should call it a day. Thank you all again for showing up and making this event a grand success. Have a great evening ahead. I now call upon the office bearers of Oikonomica and Economics Forum to come up for a group picture with Sir.